Should I start, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Learning is a lifelong journey, and no one can claim to know everything. Sharing knowledge, learning from one another, and staying updated are qualities we should all embrace. A very good evening to one and all present here. I, Dr. Parmanand Verma, Chairman Webinar Wing DCOIWA, welcome you all in this international webinar, it is DCOIWA Webinar Series 4. The topic of today's webinar is pharmaceuticals versus nutraceuticals.
Voice is
Regulatory
breaking.
challenges.
Your voice is breaking.
Sir,
Your voice is breaking.
okay, sir. The topic of today's webinar is pharmaceuticals versus nutraceuticals, regulatory challenges. And to deliver this topic, we have keynote speaker, Dr. Dinesh Kumar sir. Before the start of presentation, let me take the opportunity to introduce the esteemed speaker, Dr. Dinesh Kumar sir. With a background in pharmacology, Dr. Dinesh Kumar served the prestigious Premier Nutrition Research Entity of India, ICMR, National Institute of Nutrition, and retired as Scientist G, Director Grade, after serving 38 years. He is recognized nationally and globally for his contributions to the fields of preclinical toxicology, nutrition, pollution interaction, and social drug epidemiology. His achievements in successful implementation of public-private partnership model in research and strengthening the regulatory guidelines are remarkable. He is also been actively involved as one of the main investigators in epidemiological outbreaks and as frontline warrior in 19 operations of ICMR NIE. He is recipient of Norman Borlaug Fellow and elected fellow of several prestigious science academics. He coordinated with IAA, WHO, World Bank, and many other institutions. He has over 80 scientific publications, regulatory reports, 70, several chapters in books, popular articles, apart from educational films. So, let me welcome Dr. Dinesh Kumar sir. Sir, please.
Sir, please unmute and start the presentation.
Krishna, one advice, when speaker is speaking, you focus main photo and you give least preference to the PPT because the expression and the presentation is more important than the PPT. PPT can be posted in the group later. So give main importance to the speaker face.
Okay, sir.
Hello. Can you put it in a slide mode? Up. Can you put it in a slide mode, please? Hello.
Krishna.
Sir, Parmanand sir is taking the this option. He is sharing now. Otherwise, I will.
No, you go to the cup. Cup. I am able to see the cup. You put the pointer on the cup. No, why it is not opening? Anyway, slide. Okay, shall I go ahead, sir, with this?
Please.
Yeah, it's a good. Thank you very much for the introduction. I am very sorry because I could not send the slide earlier than this because I was myself not well for some time. Now, may I have the next slide?
Unable to see the face of speaker. Host, please check. Unable to see the face of speaker. Yeah, now okay. Good.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for your inviting me to the very different type of topic, which I actually by mistake I have joined the National Institute of Nutrition. It is a fortunate that I have joined National Institute of Nutrition being a pharmacologist. That is why I had gained the experience of both Nutra as well as a pharma. Now, can I have the next slide, please? The person who is sitting on the slides, can you just put on the next slide? Yes, sir. Now you have given me a topic on nutraceutical versus pharmaceutical or vice versa. But now I am thinking that with the mobile phones becoming cheaper in the budget, and the boy who is sitting and watching both the parents without taking the food, the situation is going to be mobaceutical and regulations are required for us. Who is actually depriving the human rights of this child? So mobaceuticals are going to become the real scene in future, it looks to me. So that also is a challenge for everyone. Next slide. What is today's reality, sir? Today's reality is a bad health, good business for pharma, but today food industry is also growing along with it. The traditional right food is always a medicine, which is known. Change a lifestyle, that means broke the chain as a food as a medicine. Science industry rediscovering the traditional concepts. Food industry is looking to be a lucrative business. Modern science of foods is looking to be a nutraceuticals. Next slide. I have put this picture. This is specifically a meta-analysis during the COVID operations. More the thicker line, more the drugs were used, in which you can see that more than 30 to 40% of the medicines used were some from nutraceutical category. Every attempt has been made to use the Ramsivir to chloroquine, chloroquine to vaccination, vaccination to vitamin mixtures, B12 and whatnot, everything which you can see in the slide. But the success rate, to be very honest, was not that much, which we expect in therapeutics, that there should be minimum 30% efficacy. Still, it is a question of doubt. Next slide. Now we have to very clearly understand what is the destination and how the differences are there between the nutraceuticals and the pharmaceuticals. First, before I just explain you before this, there are some concepts saying that Hippocrates is the person who said food is, let the food be medicine, medicine be food. Yes, but before this 2000 cc back, or a tradition says that your food is medicine. This is by the Ayurveda, and it has been written as a super medicine by Maha Bishek. So we have to understand how our traditional thoughts were and how our traditional thinking was before the Hippocrates, and we always try to give the credit to the modern science with ignoring our earlier traditional science. What is a nutraceutical? Nutraceutical, if I put potency wise, that means impact of the potency on a target will be low potency. Pharmaceutical will be high potency. There will be a weak interaction with the target. There will be a strong interaction with the targets. Pleiotropic intervention with the physiological mechanism, but more specific intervention with the physiological mechanism. Please be clear in my understanding, because I am going to focus many things on this. Then inhibition of disease, but here it is a treatment of disease. Long-term application effects. Here it is a short-term application effects. Empirically low casual evidence, but empirically often casual evidence. Often casual evidence. So you should have a proof of concept in pharmaceutical. Sometimes we may not be asking you the proof of concept in nutraceutical, but it is not the case. Now, if we are going to put for the claims, we are going to ask for the proof of concepts. Next slide. Before 1994, not much. Imagine, only 29 years maximum. It is food versus drugs. If you keep the foods in post 1994 has become the paramedicines, nutraceutical word came, and then supplements came, medical foods came, and drugs have entered. So this was the post 1994 scenario. Nutraceutical supplements. Then afterwards, I have put FSDU, FSHU, FSMP, and novel foods. I give this credit of just classifying and giving this slide credit to Dr. DBR Narayan, who is the pharmacopoeia herbal medicine champion, who is also probably maybe joining in this. So he made this slide very clearly. FSDU means food for specific dietary uses, food for specific medical purposes. Then there will be a novel foods. We will be giving you one example how these challenges are emerging. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Yes. Now, what is Indian nutraceutical market scenario? If you see toward the left-hand side, who are the people who regulates, monitor, research, and all those things from CFTRI to National Nutrition, and every regulatory system is on the left-hand side, and we companies who are manufacturing in the name of nutraceutical of each category are on the right side. The business is growing at a rate of 10%. In urban area, it is 70%. In rural area, it is next slide. Can these nutraceuticals replace the modern medicine? I say yes because I have eaten the bread butter of my national of nutrition, and I being consider that yes, nutraceuticals will definitely take the upper stage over the medical seats. You can just see left hand side health food, food medicine, functional food, dietary supplement, designer food, herbal food. Right side, if you say the encourage of health value has diet has gone up, facilitate of the for live longer has become a craze, psychological benefits, that is, then coming to the natural people asking for the natural system rather than the synthetic system. Food for population with specific needs has become important. So beneficial product management care, health promoting, disease preventing is the cause where we are posing that pharmaceuticals will be replaced by nutraceuticals. Next slide. Yes. Now, again, this slide is shared, taken by Dr. DBR. A global market of nutraceutical is approximately $1.17 billions. Current penetration of nutraceutical market in India is 10% at all India level. I am talking to you about 20 to 5% entered into the urban area, 6% in the rural area. The recent shift in consumption has resulted in the nutraceutical occupying 67% of the market, which includes both functional and food as well as functional beverage. Next slide. Now let us understand, because this slide is the main slide where you can have the fulcrum, how the pharmaceutical and nutraceutical. Definitions, I am putting it very clear. Pharmaceutical is related to pharma, indicating medicine or drug. Therefore, pharmaceutical products mean drugs that are used to prevent diagnosis or cure a disease. These drugs are chemically made. Formulations are salts of the various minerals or electrolytes. But the question comes here, who approves it? This is been approved by the FDA, whichever the country it is, so as to get the license for the commercial use of a drug by doctor, medical practitioner, and other medical experts. I am defining in contrast to the pharmaceutical, the nutraceutical. Nutraceutical term has been derived from the nutrition. Therefore, the nutraceutical products use food for are their components to provide the physiological benefits in protecting or treating the disease. I have put both the words. For example, herbal products and dietary supplement. But this may or may not be essential for nutraceutical product as they do not have the patent protection. Please understand that they do not have the patent protection. Next slide. Now, I am putting a question in front of you. This slide, which I am showing you, there are 2 to 3 meanings in this. One is that now Dabur has introduced a tea. The tea titled as anti-diabetic green tea because it contains a giloli, turmeric, clove, or dried amla. That means a tea powder which is fortified with this. And anti-diabetic is a title which they have intent to give it and they have given it. how we can actually take this for this thing, how it can be an anti-diabetic. Just because you are adding four substances, or is it a tea company, whether they have approved this for doing this thing, is a big challenge for a FSSAI and a challenge for the regulator of FDA, where we should place such type of things. Then it is not the case. It is an Indian case. Now I am giving it to international case. Now donuts, you all might be from abroad. Now donuts are available with vitamin. Who certified it? How to validate this? If there is not a safety concern, if there is any market vigilance, this is product available in the international market. Now go to up. In this way, you can just go to walk into any big star hotels. You can just see the same type of pepper, same type of this thing, and with same type of extract, it is kept in a decorated bottle. They term it as a iaceuticals, herbaceuticals, nutraceuticals, or is it a pharmaceutical? The question on this from here, you will have to take a right. Where should we place it? It is a big challenge for everyone. Next slide. Now, the students who are might be attending, for them, I need not express how the pharmaceutical development take place from pre-discovery to the discovery. Procedures are regulated. They will be non-regulated, GLP, GCP, and GMP batches. And all these things actually, the years, it is a very, very long time which we will take this picture, and where you can just see the moment it comes into the market, it takes very longer time. That is also one of the inhibitions why the pharma industry is not intent to spend lot of money on discovery of new drugs. Next slide. Now, for the FDA and for this thing, everything is very clearly been defined on the regulatory system. There is nothing where you can, every format, everything, I have only taken a snapshot how you can get the Gazette notification on the CDC SEO website. That means, for example, those days were there, we used to search for this thing, but there is no need to search for it. These are already available on the website. If you go to the website on NDCT, if you click, everything will be available. That means very systematically, the systems licensings are organized. Next slide. I am planning, next slide. Just I am planning to do two or three issues where we were actually facing, like 122 DAB, for example, forming the ethics committee, for conducting a clinical trials, for third party registration, all those things I have just highlighted. These highlights are from the same website which I have highlighted for your immediate current utilization. Next slide. Similarly, I am coming to the nutraceutical. Now, in nutraceutical, the bill in 2020 is passed, a milestone in the history that Indian food authorities have introduced the Food Safety and Standard FSSAI Amendment Bill in 2020. Next slide. This is the Gazette where they have given every aspect of it, like a regulatory status, safety information. That is a Form 1 where you can just see how you can just provide it. Next slide. It is echoing means somebody might be keeping, he should be unmute, sir. Then this echo will come down. Participants who are there, they should keep it unmute. Then only you can just unmute. Now, additional specific information. For example, I am giving you the novel foods, novel food ingredients. 1 minute. Then safety information, then history of consumption. These are some of the basic information which are very needed. If I go to the next slide, you will be understanding why this specific information I am providing to you. Next slide. Like, if there is no safety information, the product is not in use, the spice or anything, foreign companies, they bring so many herbals and other these things which they say it is a use, but we have made our guidelines very, very clearly they should to approve such product. Food in India, the history of 15 years in India is required and 30 years from other country of the origin where they are submitting their application. That is why whenever I have mentioned you that why there is a specific guideline, this data is important and this has been approved by the FSSAI and this will be has to be remembered the FBO. That means whoever is planning to do this. Next slide. FBO need to provide the declaration that the product or ingredient will not have any adverse effects on the vulnerable population. This statement is very important because our genetic makeup, our genetic approach sometimes may be differing. So there is a possibility of having a severe adverse reaction when we are introducing the fancy or a new category of foods. So this guideline now FSSAI is on a stand and they are on a pitch where they can determine whether to license the products or not to license the product under the category which they are going to submit. Next slide. Now, what are the categories? There are 8 and there are some other schedules which I will be showing you. First is food or health supplement, nutraceutical, food for specific dietary uses other than infants and those intended to be taken under medical advice, food for specific medical purposes, foods with added probiotic ingredient, food with prebiotic ingredient. That means prebiotic means if you take a probiotic and if you put something like ashwagandha or something, then it becomes a prebiotic. Then especially foods containing plant or botanical ingredient with known history of safe use in India, then we have a novel foods. Next slide. Next. Next. There are so many schedules. Schedule 1 means vitamins, mineral, amino acid, nucleotides. Example, equal or less than 1 RDA levels. Here I may like to share with you, this arrival has come after the detailed discussions are between the FSSAI and the pharmaceutical inspect department FDA. Then we have decided that anything above the RDA, it will become the property of a drug controller. If it is a less than FDA, it will become subject for inspection by FSSAI authorities.
सर
So,
वन मिनट इंटरप्शन प्लीज. आपका
हाँ,
पीछे जो लाइट है वो बंद कर सकता है सर?
क्या सर?
आपका पीछे लाइट है उसको बंद कर सकता है?
हाँ, बंद कर दो सर, बंद करो, एक सेकंड. Is it fine,
थैंक
sir?
यू सर. थैंक यू सर.
There. Sorry. Now, coming to the vitamins, which I have explained you, Schedule 2, that is a botanical ingredient, specific names of herb, part to be used, botanical name, and minimum and maximum permissible levels. For example, there are some aqueous extracts, aqueous and ethanolic extracts only can be used. Levels to be based on the extractive value. Like not more than 70% or 30% alcoholic extract is called as a aqueous alcoholic extract. It is a alcoholic extract only. It cannot be aqueous. It should be less than 50%. Other solvent extract do not have HSU. However, amendment is being done to permit such extract with prior approval of FSSAI. So, but here we need the complete toxicity data, AIMS data, carcinogenicity testing, teratology, wherever it is applicable. So, this is the schedule 2. Next. Next slide. Schedule 3 is called as a nutraceutical. That is a part A, fractions of pure compound with usage specific levels. B, purified compounds. C, list of enzymes. And D, other nutra ingredients. Other schedules are there which are listed as a prebiotic, list of a probiotic, list of permittive additives for which of the categories. Any ingredient not covered under the schedules or regulations under non will be considered fall under the non-specific foods and food ingredients. If Dr. DBR is there, he is also chairman of one of this committee. I am also a member with him. And it is really enjoyable that so many products they will be submitting. This is almost, we consider that a pharma industry, if he fails to get a license from DCGI, then they will be submitting their request to the non-specific committees. And we will be facing a lot of challenge while calculating their safety and utility. And regular and applications will be reviewed by us, by experts, and this approval will be given based on the safety of the product and submission of the documents related to proof of concepts, etc. Next slide. So how the products are regulated in what is the intended use? For example, non-ingested applied to the body is cosmetics. Diagnosis, cure, or a treat or a disease is a drug which is ingested to affect the structure and function of the body. Intended use in food is a food ingested to supplement the diet, and from the supplement of the diet, whether it is called as a dietary supplement. Again, the drug, whether it is a dietary supplement. So be clear with this picture, and this picture will tell you what is the intent of use of your formulation. Next slide. Now, wellness and food interference, you can just see, because next slide, I'm just showing to where we are falling into the regulatory guideline. Like food, wellness food, pharmaceutical. If you are having a nutrient, healthy food, up to certain level of wellness of food, if the supplement crosses the limits of the dish, then it will fall into the pharmaceutical and it will become an active drug. So you have to be very, very clear whenever you are targeting your product in which category it falls. Next slide. Now, this is a clear-cut regulatory wall which we must understand. You can just see there is a functional food, from the functional food to supplement, and from supplement it has gone to the regulatory wall. Herbs are on the regulatory wall. It comes under partially on drug, partially this thing. And that is why it is an increase in profitability. This graph has to be seen very clearly. So we have to go by the regulatory system where prevention, treatment is totally under the drugs. Protection and risk reduction is below the regulatory line, and health well-being and nutrition is also below the line of regulatory system. So these are the regulatory challenges which you will have to understand between the pharmaceutical and the nutraceuticals. Next slide. Now, health industry of nutraceuticals, on nutraceutical, you can just see a food, a part of a food that provides medical or health benefit, including the prevention and a treatment of disease. This is the definition given in 1989, and everyone uses this definition. The shift in healthcare from treatment to prevention is encouraging clinician involved in the disease pathway. This is the Lalwani's statement. The doctor of the future will give no medication, but will be interest his patients in the care of human frame, diet, and in cause of the prevention of disease. Nutrition required for health, pharmaceutical remedy for the sickness is combined, and it is termed as a nutraceutical. Next slide. Then what are the nutraceuticals? There are traditional and non-traditional. Traditionals are chemical constituents, probiotic microorganisms, nutraceutical enzymes. Then non-traditional are fortified nutraceuticals, and nowadays the new trend of recombinant nutraceuticals are emerging. So these are the nutraceutical classification. Next slide. Now, if I put into the point, which I am not able to see, but dietary supplements and fortified products, which are again supplemented into a 4 different categories. And here in fortifications, there are 2 more categories which are introduced. And this is a broad level of actually nutraceutical, which you have to understand. Next slide. Now, here the question comes, how to classify this, the nutraceutical, for the purpose of scientific validation, for the purpose of wants and needs. Wants means Okay. Needs means mandatory. For example, taxonomy, safety, standardization, validation to evidence-based marker compound determination. Needs medicinal use with efficacy, correct identification, right stage of collection, place of collection, method of processing, method of storage. So there are some, both the side, if you see, there are gaps where you can just see how the want and needs are required. Next slide. Next slide, please. Yeah. I am just seeing that many a times we are actually going by the reductionist approach. The moment we say herbal or a nutraceutical, the first mind is going for a nutraceutical. Can you just go on pressing the slide? I will explain you. Next. Now, pounding of dehusked paddy or a flattened rice used to be our traditional concept. Now, what is the concept today? Next slide. Next. Now you are now you are able to see the orange. Now no one is having a time to peel a orange and eat it. Now what do you want? You want to put the orange into the capsule. Next slide. That is a today's nutraceutical. That means you have no time, and that has become a nutraceutical preparation. So we have to understand what is the concept of a nutraceutical, where we have no time to even peel and eat the orange. The orange will give its own value. So this is where I wanted to show you this today's nutraceutical has become a almost like a reductionist type of approach, and to bring it into the market, these are the market values. Next slide. So dietary supplement internationally, how they see. For example, Dietary Supplement and Health Education Act in USA 1994, that is DSHEA. Food for Specific Health is a FOSHU in Japan. Other nations to follow. Indian Functional Food and Nutraceutical is in operation since 2019. New comprehensive review notification has come in 2022 under the FISCI notification on functional foods. Supplements broadly are vitamins, nutrition, minerals, amino acid, enzyme, again one RDA only. Probiotic, prebiotics, botanicals, and their concentrates. Nutraceutical fractions, botanical concentrates are purified compounds. Next slide. Now, I have put the same matter. Who controls what? United States and UFFDA control. European control the European Safety Authority. In India, FSSAI controls. In Japan, Japan Health and Nutrition Food Control. In China, it is State Food and Drug Administration, where these things are controlled under the dietary supplement, food for special purposes, and food for specific purposes, and healthy foods. Next slide. Now, lead to go is that how to just submit our nutraceutical product offered as a powder, granules, liquid, syrup, gels, tablets, capsules, and other format for oral administration, including the special foods for the tube feedings. To be taken with food, before food, after food, or instead of at a specific time as per the directions being given by the physician. Does not include parenteral route. Nobody can do. For example, I am just sharing one of my experiences. Once upon a time, which I may not like to quote any organization name or a company's name, they have come with AIDS. They say that to treat the AIDS, they have developed one nutraceutical, which is given in 25 ml, and it is a parenterally given. They have made all tablets, all the excipients into the boiler, and they were giving this specific type of administration. Licenses have been issued by one state government. I will not reveal the names of that government, but I may like to tell you there is nothing like injectable in nutraceuticals or in Ayurvedic preparations. All are given by oral route or topical applications. So be clear with this and don't make any ambition to go for the unscheduled routes to administer such type of drugs. Does not include Ayurvedic medicine, narcotics, drugs, psychotropic compounds. Again, I am telling you, you should not claim many Ayurvedic medicines or narcotic drugs or psychotropic drugs which you cannot put into your nutraceutical license. It does not include the GMOs until unless the GMO or recombinant safety is established and it is the history of use which we have mentioned to you earlier. So be clear with this specific this thing. Next slide. Now the issue is that there is a concern. Concern with nutraceutical is a quality control. Then adulterations, safety endurance, safety efficacy testing, and there are some serious regulatory aspects. And these are some of the important things which we will have to consider for making any categories or any schedule listed nutraceutical. All these things are there. I may also like to share certain things how the quality is plays an important role. Next slide. Now you are able to see certain things where the problems of microimmunology, physiology, genetics, biophysics, biochemistry, statistics, and physics. These are some of the problems where we are actually regulator will definitely will look into it. And based on this only, we will be just going to the next level. Next level. Now I have put, when I have mentioned you quality, now you are able to see Ajmoda. Ajmoda is a preparation which is being given for the urinary crystal urea. But if you see the right side, the same type of Ajmoda, it is a cadre, a APM gravula, and which is a carbonative, but this is not a carbonative. This is the whole this thing. This is a substandard or a standard or which are mixed. All this looks to be same type. So the quality is a major issue for such type of preparations when we are taking this type of the quality testing of the product. That is why we say the quality and a marker are important, and with the correct taxonomy name means this. Next slide. You are able to see here the only thing difference is that a spelling that Pashana Bheda that is used as a for obesity and a nutraceutical preparation. But here, instead of that, they may be using Pashana Bedi. That means only A is replaced by a I. And these both are having a different type of functions. One is for nutraceutical claiming, another is for removing the prescribed in a renal stone or a calcified gallbladder. So these two, how which different, but the morphologically you cannot identify, and this type of things happen, and the spellings only a small spelling makes this thing. Next slide. Now you are able to see one more preparation. This is actually Pulshil Ajvena, which is actually looks similar but having a different type of pharmacological property. This is cheaper than this, so that way the adulteration happens with the replacement of it. One is sedative, another is a carminative. So instead of giving a sedative, they take this as a carminative. That is the level of where we are actually enforcing that the quality makes a lot of change, and this is what we will have to undertake whenever we are doing this thing. So we are always going on mentioning the quality concern, taxonomy, biomarker, and all those things. Next slide. Now, who visits this? This is a very important thing. I have not put any company name, but I am telling you the obesity. Every website, the moment you open, whether it is a Google or a Rediff, you will be able to see some type of advertisement. For example, this advertisement where I am just showing you, a Monica has lost 93 kgs with us. Some company advertised. That means what was the weight? If she has lost 93 kg, even if she is 100 kg, is she now 7 kg? How it is actually this advertisement? This is called as a magic remedy act, where we have to just take the real scene, and the youngsters who are attending this program, they must do certain type of projects and project this thing. How the magic remedy act is being should be implemented with such type of advertisement. There will be a bald head, but the hairs are growing, but the advertisement is there. Now you are able to see there are two pictures of each lady. One is with sari and one is with pant, and she says that she has lost 95 kg. It is only photographic gap. So how to control? Who will control? Whether it comes under a drug, whether it comes under a nutraceutical, or whether it is a property of FSSAI or it is a property of. So whenever we sit, we stringently claim and see that these things are actually speaking are regularly and very thoroughly been screened. That is why some of the companies will be unhappy when they are put a claim beyond our this scope. So we are just putting you certain type which needs that the people, if they are losing, they have to give the scientifical rationale for such type of anti-obesity activities. Next slide. I have just put, for example, these are all my own research, this thing, but I have put one of the case studies for you, like Arjuna Shirpak. If I take a Arjuna Shirpak, which is can be again a nutraceutical, you can just see when we have done this Arjuna Shirpak with some 20, 10 or 12 Arjun, which we have collected, out of which only 30% were found to be correct. And when we made the Shirpak of this, in the milk, that means buffalo milk and all those things, the activity was not there. When we made it in a cow milk, then the activity has been shown. Again, why I am telling you is that in traditional literature, in Ayurveda system, the use of a milk, the use of the specific ingredient, the specific this thing is perfectly been defined. So let us not change the history how it should be used. So the cow milk is used, and under the cow milk they will be making this type of product. And beauty of this Arjun Shirpak, there are two types of studies which I am just focusing in front of you. One is a rat pie edema, one is a mice pie edema. When we have given this Shirpak, compared with the aspirin, this thing, the anti-inflammatory property has literally came down, and this anti-inflammatory property has literally helped us in identifying that it has a aspirin type of anti-inflammatory properties. When I am going to the next this thing, the same this thing we have done in a mice. Why we have selected mice and rat? We have to understand the two, three things. One is that the in rat paw, we can only see the phase one inflammation get reduced. Whereas in mice, we can just see the both the phases of inflammation comes down. That means the instant phase and a lateral phase. But this Shirpak has beautifully worked in the second phase. That means the chronic administration or a chronic inflammation has some, this Shirpak can reduce the chronic inflammatory character. So this is the beauty of some studies which are all published, which you can just Google and just find out why we take the rat paw edema and a mice paw edema is to understand whether the first phase the action or a second phase the action. This is again a good proof of concept for making the Shirpak. Here I have given one of my students' work also. You can just see cockless herpes. For example, what happened while we were now Sun Pharma is using, I think, for delivering the COVID, during the COVID operation, they started using this cockler, which is a small vegetable which grows on the huts, which has a dual purpose. It is like a jelly. Yeah, sir. Anything? Hello? Hello? Shall I continue, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Proceed.
Yeah. So in this, you can just see when we have done some type of assay, we have seen that passive impact on microbial load of organisms was very good. And this work has been taken further at the Tuberculosis Research Center. And there they found, but we could not carry out because of the limitation of the funds and the doctorate program. So you can, we don't know, but it is written in the history of use that it reduces the tuberculosis. In what form? We don't know. But when we have done the experimental proof of concept, these are the findings. Next slide. Next slide. Yes. Now I am actually showing you we should make the claims based on that. Again, I'm going to show you one case study. Nutra products cannot make a drug-like claim. Content claims can be made. General statement based on scientific statements can be made like helps, supports, etc. Then organ-specific health claims cannot be made. Pre-approved health claims have to be notified by authority can be made. Strong healthcare benefits need prior approval. Approval by authority. Disease reduction claims need a prior approval and specific procedure exists for getting the claims. Now, day before yesterday only, that you might have seen that labeling of the Nutraceutical Act also is going to be invoked. Next slide. Now, one thing which I may like to tell many youngsters who are sitting here, we must know that in the whole, there are something like a 7,000 plant species has existed and by the human. And they are cultivated. Only 95% of human calorie are provided by 30 crops. Rest of the 10-12 crops are hardly been used and been evaluated. Less 60-70% of such type of medicinal product are never been evaluated, though they are having their own values. These values you can get it from the epidemiological data by the animals, by veterinary stock, by human practices, or by the tribal practices, or by the practices which have been existing in the traditional villages. So we will have to just see over millions. We have created only unique secondary metabolite which has the rule of protective regulatory functions in the biocenosis. And this is virtually an exhaustive source of ideas to draw upon the creating a new generation pharmaceutical and new drugs for the next millennium. Please remember that we have to consider every this thing because we all come from a rural background or some remote rural background. We will be observing our grandmother's recipes and which can be translated into a real pharmaceutical or a nutraceutical preparation. Next slide. I am giving you one more example of one of my student. This guy is working in, I think, Novartis. You can just see all are four are spices, rest of two are plants, and all these combinations we have taken. These combinations we have taken based on the descriptions and based on the scientific literature, like garlic for hypocholestemic, curcuma longa I have taken as a anti-inflammatory, ginger as an anti-emetic, terminalia arjuna as a cardiotonic, then cypress rotent as an anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. Next slide. We made it as a polyherbal formulation. We have done a perfect analysis where you can just see this is a work of one doctorate program where in vitro to in vivo evaluations has been completely done, and I can just show you some promising slides which are very interesting to observe how powerful is the nutraceutical. Next slide. You are able to see atherosclerosis is a common problem. For reducing the atherosclerosis and all those things, a detailed mechanism I have not worked out. A lumen will become narrow, and you can see the foam cell, LDL entry into the lumen and not allowing, and there will be oxidative stress. And this oxidative stress is nothing but the mechanism which induces atherosclerosis. This experiment is being done in a rabbit. Next slide. In the rabbit, I am just putting the picture of aorta. You are able to see the negative. That means the nothing is given. This is a normal aorta. Positive, when we have induced with high fat diet, this is the aorta. And then when we have given a polyherbal formulation, where we have given the single dose, double dose, and then we have compared it to the statin. The arteries are becoming clearer, lumen is becoming clearer and clearer. That is the indication that how the polyherbal formulation which we have developed has functioned on them. The same thing, if you see the electron microscopy picture, here there is a foam cell. Then the foam cells are also getting distinguished with compared to the negative versus the atriostrogene and with the PFM. That means the polyherbal formulation has demonstrated equivalent statin effect. That is why it has an anti-atherosclerotic property. This is the beauty and this is the way in which we have to actually give the proof of concept studies. Next slide. The same picture under the 150x, 300x, and 600x. You can just see how the lumens are getting this thing, and this is how we are able to see the whole electron microscopy pictures, how the foam cells and other characters are there. And this specific observation has been taken very differently, and this has been ATVB. That means it is an American body where they have invited this boy to attend in America for these specific purposes, and it is going on, and this purpose is actually functioning. And now I am just showing you that picture. That means the power of nutraceutical or herbaceuticals is this. Next slide. This is the paper where they have taken ATVB 0 to 13. This is the publication which you can just see, and it has been approved by the Cardiac Society of International Agencies. Next slide. Now you are all aware that very recently we have made the waves in the news by one more student, but that student is actually MD in Ayurveda. She decided to become a medical scientist. She came to me to undertake the work of her own reverse pharmacology approach, and she has patented this formulation. That means the ICMR has taken this and patented the formulation for her, which is a simple grass but having a potential to reduce the risk of menopausal complication. And this data also, if I explain you, it is non-carcinogenic, having a potential to even increase the bone formation or cartilage formation, and also helped in the fat metabolism by the different type of techniques. And this is patented, which I have put in front of you to understand how the herbaceuticals can take the root and can come to the level of this thing. Next slide. Now again, when I have come to the same started from where I have started. This is the unified agenda where revocation of several standards, low-fat yogurt, non-fat yogurt, French dressing, frozen cherry pea, reopening comment of period. FDA is now holding to listening the sessions with stakeholders who are interested in specific standards upon request. In India also, FSSAI has started this. Public meetings are focusing on standards. Dockets for written comments are open after the meeting. This also in existing in our FSSAI. That is why I was keeping, it is not India's problem, it is the world global problem. Next slide. The good foods are bad drugs. And you can just see, this is what, when we wanted to start the Nutra Vigilance program to be introduced into the market. This is how it has actually started. We started, but now I'm retired. Whether it is continuing or not, I'm thinking that it may start very soon. This is the way forward. Next slide. Now, I may be very simply telling why the apple has to be labeled. Because there are 9 reasons why apple is very good for health. But there is a myth is different. Next. If I take 5 apples at a time, you can just see you have to go very near to the dental doctor. That means you are going to release 2 mm of surface of enamel of teeth. So apple also has to be labeled, mentioning that if it is a 5th apple, use it carefully. Next slide. Advancing regulatory science is a very challenging science. Regulator is a tough man, and to understand the regulatory science, we should have all the 3 things at one place. That is why we say that regulatory science is a serious one. Next slide. Next slide. These are the 3 pillars where we have to just see to become the ideal nutraceuticals. One is a quality, safety, efficacy. In between, I have given appropriate use of nutraceuticals, quality, safety, and efficacy, its accessibility, availability. And there should be a guideline for rational use. There should be a national regulators who have to work jointly to come out with these specific challenges. Next slide. I still remember I have conducted one program where Abdul Kalam ji came because on my personal request, and you can log on to this website where I have actually conducted the natural medicine workshop, international meeting with IUFR, where you can just see how we have organized. You can listen to big scientists on this, how we have done this specific conference and what are the views internationally and why India stands a good position if we start working on this specific conference. Next slide. Still, this picture is actually been generated by us, by me only. After this, why? Because I am still remember that I had a very good cooperation from the State Drug Control Department, United Andhra Pradesh. Gopal Krishna Murthy ji was the drug controller, and we did a very big survey. In this survey, we found that nutraceutical B complex preparations were highest sold in the market, and that was becoming very popular. And that is why we have to do this type of survey. But still, we say that health cannot be built at a pharmacy counter. We have to go together, and these challenges we have to face. And I thank the organizers for giving this opportunity to share my views. And I thank our DBR Narayan if he is there for giving sparing his slides also. And this is how I describe this is a big challenge. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. See, knowledge is different, but sharing of knowledge is more important, and the way of presentation is more important. Most of the drug control officers who attended the Hyderabad conference in 2022 might be aware of his speech. Dr. Dinesh is an extraordinary person, and he has capacity of delivering lecture on any given subject. So he will be our permanent speaker, and we will be expecting in future on various concepts. We are working on that also. Good evening to everyone. Today we have the stalwarts from Drugs Control Department, Amit Dugalji, Dr. Amal Kumarji, Vivek Ahujaji, and our USA regular well-wisher Dr. Ramaya Mutyalaji from America, Dr. Hanmantarao ji from Telangana, and Harish Jain ji from Bangalore from industry, Arvind Mittal sir, and Dr. Anand Kirochni, drug controller of Pondicherry, and a home science graduate, and Dr. Madhuri from Hyderabad, and Sri Devta Subramaniam ji from West Bengal, Sri Kolla Tatarao ji from Hyderabad, a senior pharmacist come industrialist, and my co-founder Lalit Goyal ji, and from industry specialist, a senior most pharmacist and vice president, former vice president of Dr. Reddy Labs, Sri KV Raju ji, and Dr. Ramesh ji, DDC from Bangalore, and M. Vijay Gopal, and Madam Deepika Chauhan from Central CEC Committee. She is an expert in food division. And several other friends also attending this, and such webinars will be continued every fortnight. So earlier we have not purchased any this Zoom package, and this time by sparing 70,000 rupees we purchased for 1 year, and we don't have any time limit now. We can go on as many as possible, as and the discussions will be going on. And Dinesh ji, there are some questions kept in the chat box, and instead of reading that, I will give them chance to speak to you directly. And Krishna, go to Narendra Ahujaji, please. Former drug controller from Haryana. Please give him access. Ahuja sir, please unmute yourself.
Access
Yeah,
granted,
thank you. Thank you very much. My question is very simple and clear. there is some ambiguity between the nutraceuticals and pharmaceutical products, between these food products and drug products. And presently, the lot of discussion is going on between FSSAI and CDSCO, who will control these nutraceuticals. And there was some final circular from both the sides that interministerial committee has given certain recommendations. My simple question is that why the companies are shifting their food products from.
Before that, people want to see your face too.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Now
Thank
I
you.
have opened the camera also.
Thank you.
There is lot of discussion going on in the country for regulating these nutraceuticals, as nutraceuticals also claim that they prevent or treat the disease or disorder, which is the definition of drug as given in section 3b of drug act. When any substance claim the prevention or treatment of disease, in our opinion, it should be considered as a pharmaceutical product or a drug, not as a nutraceutical. Number one. Number two, why the companies are shifting their products from pharmaceutical preparations or drugs to nutraceuticals, which I personally think, and I need the opinion of the honorable today's speaker, that because of the stringent compliances are required to be made for the manufacturing of drug products, that is revised schedule M. Number two, stringent compliances of the drug testing at final level. Number three, the DPCO, drug price control order, which I think the mainly companies are shifting their products from pharmaceuticals to nutraceuticals, which I feel, but I require the answer from the honorable speaker.
Over to Dinesh, sir.
Sir, well taken, sir. Your point is very well taken. In fact, I am aware of it. We were also actually, whenever we do this scientific committee meeting at FSSAI, we try to resolve the issues sitting with your department. Hopefully, the things will come down, sir. Who will control? How it will be controlled? But one question, one thing which I would like to tell you, sir, there are a lot of things where nutraceutical role has its own value, whereas that is why we are just thinking to concentrate on nutraceutical which are safe with a proof of concept. Up to that only we are restricting. Beyond this, we may not like to go encroach into the pharmaceutical. Sir, I am also a pharmacologist more
Thank
than a
you.
nutritionist, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. My last comment on this point is there is difference between RDA value,
Yeah.
recommended daily allowance in the nutraceutical as far as vitamins and minerals are concerned,
Ah.
and the Schedule V of the Drugs and Cosmetic Act, because
Sir.
Schedule V gives the prophylactic and therapeutic dose,
Yeah.
and RDA is much lower than the prophylactic or therapeutic doses. Therefore, the nutraceuticals and pharmaceutical products should be separated very clearly in the regulations. That what exactly I think, sir.
Sir, sir, now new RDA book has been published by ICMR, Dr. Hemlata, the pharma director, and the team. Please utilize, sir, where we have corrected many things.
Thank you,
This is
sir.
available on the website, sir, and this has also been approved and released by the Health Ministry, which can be used as a
Thank you. Please,
Bible for use.
sir, that please share on the group also, sir.
Yeah, I will do that, sir. I will do that.
Thank you, sir.
Koteshwar
Thank
sir,
you
I
very
will do
much.
it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Sir, coming to drugs and nutraceuticals, I visited several pharmacies in United States where, apart from that, there is separate vitamin shops are there, sir, exclusive vitamin shop, thousands of products, and all are equally standard as drugs are there. And many times the vitamin product which I brought and used from America and which I brought from our medical shop, yes, definitely observed a lot of difference, sir. Still, there a lot of things to standardize in India, And next question from Sri Amit Duggalji, President of Drug Control Officers India Welfare Association, Punjab. Duggal sir, Amit Duggal.
Yes, sir. Sir, mine questions have already ditto with Mr. Ahuja ji. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yeah, are ditto, but only the thing was that the claims which these nutraceuticals are making, like the tea sir has shown in his slide, and certain diseases which are covered under Schedule J as well as in this DMR also. So one thing is that. Second part is that what I think DPCO is not being affected. That's why the prices of those nutraceuticals which are available in the market are exorbitant. And
meeting.
They are exorbitant, and
Please.
thus it must be looked into. And there are so many judgments also. But let us see when that RDA book is there. Let me go through it, and definitely there must be some way through that the things should be very clear, which is otherwise not clear.
Sir, this is only for the discussion among us, sir, because we are all working in FDA only.
Yeah.
There was a discussion actually speaking how to actually catch. For example, मैं एक बताता हूँ सर, एक राइस का बैग है, एक विजया का आटा है, एक कुछ है. इसमें आपने 2 times का RDA डाल दिया. Whether it goes to a drugs purview of a drug controller or whether it comes under the FSCCI purview.
FSI.
Because this is the way the commercial exploitation is also going on. Matrix क्या है? Rice or wheat है, which is not never described in the drugs. So there are so many complications and so many gaps are there, which we have to sit across and really resolve it. So we have to understand each other first before we take anything in a conclusive decision. But I will certainly share a RDA book.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Next question is Professor Mausami from Professor in Pharmacology from Purulia. Mausami, please give connection.
तुम आई बोल के बोलो, यहाँ पे मीटिंग में है, फोन 3 बार करेंगे.
Parmanand, please. Mausami, Mausami, just give chance. MAUSUMI.
Yes, sir.
Madam, sir, madam or sir, I don't know. Please unmute and you can speak, please. Is there on the line?
फोन कर रहे हैं.
Okay, their question is pharmaceuticals or nutraceuticals are used to provide drugs or medicines along with diet and may be used in chronic diseases. In physiological or pathological states, it can be used. Diet and exercise have a combined effect on disease. There is no question, I think. Only herbal pharmaceuticals are used in chronic diseases, prevent malignancy. With regards. So only comment they have.
Sir, I understand. How come whether the nutraceuticals have a role in the chronic diseases? Sir, if they may not be directly acting, but they indirectly facilitating to reduce the risk with the pharmaceutical drugs and all those things, and they will promote it. That is how we have to look into it. There are so many now products which are coming into the market.
Thank you. And next, Deepraj Paul is asking, what are the challenges on the path of formulating nutraceuticals into injectable preparations?
There are, sir, definitely there will be, because the volume in the nutraceutical will be more, whether in chemical section or pure compound, the volume will be less. And how to put that exact number of concentrates and all those things is a real challenge for a pharmaceutical person. That is how the pharmaceutical person has to be looking for new type of employments here.
Next, 1 minute. What steps are taken to ensure and avoid the pharmaceutical companies who are providing vitamins and minerals above 1 RDA limit and does not have an FSSAI license? This question is Mr. Parth Saha from West Bengal.
Sir, only analytical reports. Claims
Okay.
and analytical reports.
Please clarify whether drugs and food samples can be tested and analyzed in the same
Yeah,
laboratory.
sir. Now they are giving manufacturing license also for CGMP and analytical can be done. But in case of food products, we have to go for a NABL hybrid mode, sir.
This question is from Dr. P. Ramesh, Deputy Drug Controller from Karnataka.
Yeah, sir. NABL hybrid mode laboratories only are authorized to do the report, sir. There is in QCI, there is NABL hybrid mode where FSSAI gives the permission for doing the analyticals for this.
Dr. Ramesh, sir,
Yeah,
can
sir.
you come
Yeah,
into the picture?
yeah. Good evening, sir. Thanks for the
Yes.
organizers and the speaker for the good subject. So I would like to know, have a clarification. See, this we as being from the regulatory side, our laboratories are statutory laboratories. So in such case, whether the laboratories for the drugs can also be perform the testing analysis of the food in the same laboratory. That is the
They have to take NABL hybrid approval, sir.
But no, my question is that is okay. That one part, whether the same laboratory, same equipments, or same premises
Yeah,
can be.
sir. Yeah, sir. Sir, they are accredited, sir. They have to be same like NABL accreditation. That's all.
Okay.
Many companies are doing, sir. Big all
No,
Vimta and
not
all those people
companies.
they
So
do.
I'm not. Okay. So my question is with respect to the government laboratory, which has a statutory laboratories. So which is going to use as a
Sir, I
evidence
can
for.
only say that you will have to opt to the AOAC guidelines majority of the time, which is a very simple way of shifting that. But for public laboratories like we at NIN, ICMR, or CFTRI or CSIR, they all do both food and drug analysis in the same laboratory with the same instruments. Only methodologies will change.
Thank you. Thank
Sir,
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
just I want to intervene in this matter because being a regulator in FDA, as far as the food is concerned, person has to be notified as public announced list under Food Safety and Standard Act number 1.
Correct.
And as far as testing of drugs is concerned, public person has to be notified as government analyst under section 20 of the Drugs and Cosmetics Act number 2. Drug testing laboratory is required to be notified separately, and food testing laboratory is required to be notified separately. Now your question is very specific, whether we can use single laboratory under a same roof can be used for the testing of food or drugs. Then answer is yes, as given by the honorable speaker, because the similar types of sophisticated instruments are generally
I'll be
used
listening.
for testing of drugs and foods, but notifications are required to be done separately. Thank you.
There is a reason.
Thank you.
There is a reason behind that, sir. Asking this question from Karnataka because recently they merged food and drug.
Yeah,
Correct, sir. Thank you,
they
sir.
have. We are already having FDA. That what they have done now, we have done much earlier, sir.
Thank you.
We also
Over
have the
to
FDA,
we have
Food and
we
Drug
have one
Administration,
we
In
have one
Punjab also.
international audience, Mr.
Punjab also.
Dr. Ramaya Mutiala. Please give connection to Dr. Ramaya Mutiala from USA. He is a specialist in rare diseases. Sir, please
Hello.
unmute and speak.
Can you hear me?
Please, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity. First of all, I'm not a regulator. I'm a consumer. So my questions may be different from others. But one thing I would like to know, rare diseases have no cures, you might know. Some rare conditions can be managed with medical foods. I think about 2 years ago, Indian government announced that medical foods can be imported without taxes, but I could not find any list what they are. And that's my question. I appreciate Dinesh. I really learned a lot of things from your presentation. Thank you.
Sir,
Thank you.
sir, good evening, sir. Mutaya, sir, Dinesh here. How are you, sir? First of all,
I'm fine. Thank you. It's cold here.
sir, actually speaking, I can only say that medicinal foods, which you are talking to you, me, sir, I understand that now it is a new chapter. The drug controller has to take it a serious view. Koteshwar Rao sir, Mutaya sir's request is that we have to introduce the food, specific medical foods for the rare diseases for which we don't have a opening of a new era. Can we make an effort to go to Pharmacopoeia Commission and all those things where his requirement is there, sir? Because
Sir,
lot
he
of
is our
autism
next
cases.
speaker, sir. He is our next speaker.
Yeah, fine, sir. In autism cases, we can definitely have to do something, sir.
Thank you. And over to Sri Harish Jain from Bangalore from industry. He is president of Hope. Sri Harish Jain ji, need your comment, please.
Thank you, Koteshwar Raoji. Hope you can, everybody can listen to me.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Koteshwar Raoji, for giving me an opportunity to speak few words. Thank you, Sri Dinesh Kumar ji, for giving such a wonderful presentation. Although I'm not much into manufacture of nutraceutical, but then I think your presentation was so clear, simple, crisp, where I could understand the real nitty-gritty of the safety, quality, and the efficacy which is relevant to the nutraceutical as well and the food supplement. And
Thanks.
such a great presentation. I'm so happy that I could able to attend this program today. Thank you, Koteshwar Rao ji, for doing such a wonderful work under Drug Control Officers Welfare Association, for doing on the education front as well. I think this is where our and your interest also overlap, where even in fact today morning we had under FOP, we are doing that pulse program on the schedule M GMP, and we had the 14th session today morning. And I'm happy that both the programs we are able to do today. And thank you very much. Such a wonderful work you are doing. I'm seeing your work for last couple of years, and great going. And thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. And my sincere request is to give few speakers from the industry, sir.
Definitely, sir. We will.
Yeah,
I think we'll connect over telephone once, and then
please,
we'll.
please. And we have a question bank officer from Bihar, Dr. Amal Kumar ji. Please come. Amal ji is a subject expert and good speaker too.
Good evening, sir. Good
Very
evening.
good evening.
Hello.
Yeah,
I audible.
yeah.
First of all, I'd like to thank sir for giving me this opportunity, and thanks to our honorable speaker, Dinesh Kumar sir, who had highlighted the certain major issues what we are facing during the operations here also. See, it's a very quick or direct lines to the participation in the pharmaceutical and nutraceuticals. Some of the products we have seen related to the cosmeceuticals also were claiming as the nutraceuticals. So, what are the regulation behind this? Hello,
Sir,
some, my question is in a
sir,
simple
your
word.
point is well taken, sir.
Yeah,
Sir, because cosmeceutical products, a topical applications which goes actually majority of the time in the
yes,
drug department rather than it comes under the nutraceutical department, sir.
but they are claiming as the nutraceuticals.
No, they are claiming that nutraceutical is added to it, sir.
Okay, and uh, and the second question is that what comes in our mind, the products which are likely that's for example of the vitamins are the used on the veterinary supplements, but right now there is no regulatory authority for the veterinary supplement, the feed supplement for the veterinary products,
Yes, sir. Sir, yes, sir, it is correct.
because we don't have even the licensing authority who are the granting these formulation for the veterinary supplement. So is there any regulation under the nutraceutical, or is there any coming policies for this?
I will certainly explore and find out and definitely provide you the information, sir, soon.
Okay.
Sir, in veterinary, sir, actually there is drugs, there is food and there is feed. Feed
Yeah.
is nothing but पशु दाना बोलता है. पशु दाना के अंदर वो GST का जो क्लासिफिकेशन रहता है उसके नीचे people are making all this. If if you want to book them, if some rule there, if you feel that they are crossing the rules, you can seize it, sir. What can I say this is
Yes,
because
sir,
I have seen, sir, 1 minute. I have seen many antibiotic preparations as a selling as a veterinary feed supplements. And once upon a time, even I wrote a letter to Dr. Ishwar Reddy, sir, and under RTI also, that with I just my question under RTI is I enclosed a product of oxytetracycline feed supplement. I want to manufacture the same. Can I permitted? Yes or no? Bole to very sarcastically I received a message that as per schedule 3 section 3D, this one, that one, and so many. And finally the wanted result response has not received, and this question is still this one, and still market this
yes,
antibiotic preparations in the name of feed supplements are available, sir. Inshallah,
very
we'll
correct.
see what will happen. And
Sir, sorry for interrupting. I think a very relevant question we have seen in our industry level as well. And the name of feed supplement, lot of antibiotics are being pushed to the cattles and the feed, and which ultimately get into our food chain, and also contributes to our antibiotic resistance. I think some regulations has to be immediately put in place.
Yes,
Yeah, just want to intervene in this matter also. Uh, Kindly look into the definition of drug. Definition of drug includes both human being and animals. These are covered under the definition of drug being veterinary drugs if they are using any antibiotic in the name of animal feed and then giving it to the animals and causing AMR. AMR is a big problem because the milking animals then they secrete the milk having the contents of these antibiotics, which we are finally consuming and developing resistance to these antibiotics. Therefore, wherever you see these products, kindly issue them the notice. You may seize them, take the samples, and initiate the action. If we don't initiate the action, then we
yes,
cannot say that these are unregulated or a separate regulation is required. Our Drugs and Cosmetics Act is equally applicable on the animal or veterinary drugs. And
definitely.
sir,
these
I have
types
a
of
circular.
Sir,
I
products
have
are
a
one
circular.
minute.
Sir, 1 minute. I have
No.
a circular about 15 years back from DCGI, sir. DCGI, sir, has issued a circular saying that you discourage such antibiotic feeds. He did not say that
Stop it.
you
Stop
ban
it.
it.
Ban it or stop it.
Yeah, discourage. That
Yeah.
means no meaning in that
Yeah.
circular. After that, no circular has seen, sir.
So similar,
Ahuja, sir.
I
Ahuja,
would
sir,
like
boliye.
I would like to add that vulture problem is there, particularly in Haryana. That is also due to this diclofenac and all that type of.
Yes,
And in fisheries also, fish which we are consuming, then chicken, in all that food chain, it is entering into the food chain via that media also. And I have launched one prosecution for this thing in Punjab. I still remember.
Sir, can I
And
answer, sir?
Yeah.
please, sir.
Yes.
Sir, actually, what happened, to be very honest about that vultures and fisheries which you have brought it out, is a fact. That is why the Parsi community have started burning the dead body. They never used to burn the dead body. They used to keep it open. Now, vultures in Pakistan have become 0%. In India, there are only 5%. We consider that the viruses which are there, the vultures used to take, and the viruses used to be digested, and that there used to be a chain of cycle which environmental system is to maintain. That is why, sir, now new chapter is started, that is under the eco-pharmacology, where we have to monitor all the things which we are discussing about the fishes, intermediates in the river, and the population which are using, and the dead bodies which have been created, and veterinary stocks which actually using antibiotic have to be monitored strictly. The system is still under evolution, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And over to D.H. Rao.
thank
D. Hanmant Rao, sir, former director from Hyderabad. Sir, are you there? Please unmute and come into the D.H. Rao. In the name of D.H. Rao, see from Krishna.
बोल दी मेरी बहन को.
Hello.
Yes, sir. We are audible. Sir, we
Hello.
are hearing. Yes, sir. You
Yeah.
can speak.
The problem of adding antibiotics to feed supplement was detected as early as in 1970s. We have taken the samples and people have like Pfizer and all who were manufacturing the animal feed supplement, they have discontinued it because of the law. Even today, for all the vitamin preparations which they are making as a feed supplement, which are not within the limits of our schedule B, the best way is take them samples, get them analyzed, and find out whether they are up to the mark or not. Certainly, most of them will not be up to the mark. That's the best way of doing it. Because we are all regulators, we should know only about the regulations, enforcement activities and all. Similarly, antibiotics using the feed supplement, it was prohibited. DC India has given long back a circular saying that don't permit them. I don't have a copy of it right now with me. So if you come across such a feed supplement with antibiotic, take a sample, declare them as a drug, and process them in the court of law. That's the only way to reduce or restrict these activities.
Thank you, sir. Over to Sri Arvind Mittalji. Arvind Mittalji, please unmute.
Yeah. Hello.
Please, sir.
Yes, sir. Very good evening to everyone. Actually, I was driving right that time. The stop somewhere.
दो मिनट के लिए बात रखना है, sir. Don't drive and for talk.
सर ये बहुत ही फ्रूटफुल इंफॉर्मेशन था मेरे लिए और मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप आगे भी ऐसे कंडक्ट करें। सर न्यूट्रास्यूटिकल के नाम पे सर बहुत कुछ गलत चल रहा है मार्केट में। मतलब मैं बीइंग इन इंडस्ट्री आल्सो, मतलब कुछ भी नहीं डालते हैं सर, कुछ भी नहीं डालते हैं। कुछ लोग तो ऐसे हैं, अच्छा काम करने वाले के लिए बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है ये। इसको जितना जल्दी से जल्दी सर रेगुलेशन के अंडर आएगा उतनी जल्दी बात बनेगी। अदरवाइज पेशेंट्स के लिए जो लिया जा रहा है, पेशेंट्स को बहुत ज्यादा नुकसान हो रहा है इस समय। जो कस्टमर्स हैं, जो यूजर्स हैं, मतलब ये चीज आप लोग ज्यादा बेहतर जानते हैं, लेकिन ये है कि जितना जल्दी इसको रेगुलेशन में लाएंगे अच्छा काम करने वालों के लिए बहुत बेटर रहेगा सर। तो यही मेरा कंसर्न है। थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you much. Over to Lady Tiger जी, please आइए line पे and introduce yourself, Lady Tiger जी। दीपिका चौहान का access देना। Madam, please unmute and speak. Deepika ji.
She is not in the line, sir.
She is there.
Sir, I'm having one question. Meanwhile, I'm asking.
1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Okay, you can proceed, Parmana.
Sir, I'm having one question.
Krishna, yeah.
Sir, myself Krishna Kumar, working as DI in Delhi. Sir, can the drug inspector take the food supplemented samples for testing?
Ahuja sir, you can respond. Ahuja ji.
If
Because
these are
FSI license.
Krishnji, just listen. If you find that the product is licensed or registered under FSSAI and having the particular number, manufacturing license number from FSSAI, then you consider that label claim is correct and true. Then issue your proceedings, start your proceeding, and send a notice to the manufacturer first that he has wrongly taken the permission and the strength of the vitamins is more than the strength given in schedule V for prophylactic dose or coming under the strength of therapeutic dose and more than the strength permitted in RDA by the FSSAI and then send copy to the FSSAI to take necessary action regarding cancellation of that particular permission. That will be better and appropriate. Instead, you first go and seize the sample and then create an ambiguity or a tug of war between FSSAI and Drug Control Department. Work in harmony with the FSSAI. That is better way of doing
Sir,
the things.
well, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, recently I
Got
came
the
across
answer?
one feed supplement to product, sir. It is written on the label, contains gluconeogenic precursors. That's all. मैंने एक ड्रग इंस्पेक्टर से बोल दिया इसको नोटिस इशू करो, इसमें शायद कुछ स्टेरॉइड से बोल के व्हाट इज बोले, तो फाइनली देखे तो इसमें खाली नियासिनामाइड है, बस ओनली नियासिनामाइड, एंड ही केप्ट द एमआरपी एज ए 1500 to 2000 rupees. Such
That
things
is
are going on. And over to Sri Tatarao Kolla, senior most pharmacist from Hyderabad, and he is an industrialist. Sri Tatarao sir Kolla. Sir, need your comment, please. Please unmute, sir.
Hello.
Yes, audible, sir.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah.
It is very nice program organized by our organization. It is really excellent because a lot of ambiguity is there between nutraceutical and pharmaceuticals, and especially when I'm hearing the comments, unless the ICMR limits or RDA limits are notified as per in FOSCOS, FSSA cannot implement in my view. That is to be taken in a different direction because presently ICMR 2020 guidelines are being followed as far as RDA is concerned. So in that way, if latest guidelines are given, they are to be notified through FSSA to implement as part of RDA. And as mentioned by many people, they are exorbitantly priced, number one. And some of these strips
Sir, in the
Yes.
last scientific committee, it has been approved and it has been licensed by April 1st, 2025. They will be in total implementation.
Okay, then it is okay. I have not seen that actually. And the pricing part, many people are shifting to nutraceuticals only because to avoid that DPSO issue in my view, sir. And they are prohibitively expensive. I think some of the neurologists and some cardiac orthopedic practitioners, they are having their own clinics and they are keeping the stocks, and almost each strip is costing more than 1,000 rupees or 900 rupees.
Madam, please come into the picture. You are called.
See, it has become very costly affair. And that is the reason people are being misguided. And sometimes the nutraceuticals are costing 5 to 10 times the drug cost. Yes, sir. Okay. That part should be taken into consideration, sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk, express my views. Thank you, sir.
Over to Miss Deepika Chauhanji from Ahmedabad, former Deputy Drug Controller. She is a food specialist actually. We need some comment. I think Madam is busy with some function, it seems to, even though I requested her. Madam,
Yes.
please come.
Yes, sir. Can you please repeat the question?
We don't have any question. We need your comment on this topic.
Okay, sir. Sir, there are two things on the food side. The nutraceuticals are being prepared, manufactured, and sold under FSSAI license. Now they don't have, because they are all pharmaceutical manufacturers. They don't know what is the RDA value. They just take the license under FSSAI by showing some official formula, and they make something else. Now this needs to be controlled very, very strictly by either Drug Control Department or the Food Safety Department.
Madam, your comment put on a paper and let us represent to the government on behalf of our association.
Sure, sir.
Thank you.
I'll
Thank
give
you,
you
madam.
thousands of formulas for vitamin D3, vitamin B12, vitamin B1, everything, vitamin E. All these nutraceuticals are being manufactured under FSSAI license, but the RDA value is not being maintained. That's the problem.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. Over to Dr. B. Lakshmi Narayana from Hyderabad, Senior Drug Inspector. Lakshmi Narayana, need some comment from you. Please unmute. Are you there? Some people are very intelligent. They are opening and keeping their work. Okay. And my gentleman and my brother Lalit Goyalji, we are waiting for your final comment, please. Lalitji, please unmute. One question, sir, can the FSSI manufacturing food supplements taken as sample for testing by DA notified under section 21?
Sir, that has been answered. That has been
Right.
answered.
That has been answered.
But sir, the problem with the food safety officers is they are in such a less number. And most factories are taking the central FSSAI license, which has more or less number of staff. That is the problem.
And one more question from Ashish Bestraji.
Good evening, sir.
Sir, namaskar.
Namaste, sir. Namaste, sir.
Sir.
Sir,
Just
that is good, sir.
We are taking feedback from all the audience and especially from the founders of DCO.
Yes, sir. Sir, nice, very nice program, sir. This slide presentation by Mr. Dinesh, very clear cut. This act was made in the 8 years back, but we are not going through this act. But Mr. Dinesh had made us to go to the act again to read about this Nutraceuticals Act. Nice presentation, sir. One more point may I add to this point, sir. One question was there by Mr. Ramesh, Deputy Conductor, whether can be manufactured, but can be test these drugs. Can be, hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Can we test the food in the lab, drug lab? Yes, as per Shul L. There is no competition. You can go for this. As given in Shulam, you cannot manufacture food. But in testing, there is no such condition, sir. That's it, clear, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And next, Lakshmi Narayana, you are there? So it's already 6:30. Expected 30 minutes we have extended. And I think it's gone very wonderful. And we will come to you very shortly with a new subject and a new topic and expecting a good participation in future too. We are not interested in number of participants. We are interested in interested participants. And today everything has gone in an interesting way. We are anticipating in future too such encouragement and over to Krishna for present vote of thanks followed by national anthem.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Krishna Kumar Ramawat, working as drug inspector at Delhi. I take this opportunity of vote of thanks for today's session. It is very glad to be welcomed you all by DCOIWA for the fourth webinar in the webinar series held by DCOIWA. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for making this webinar a resounding success. We are thrilled to have had the opportunity to share knowledge and insights with such a diverse and engaged group of
Krishna,
participants.
people want to see your face.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, proceed. Proceed.
immense value to the webinar. We would like to express our deepest appreciation to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Dinesh Kumar, for his informative and engaging presentation on regulatory challenges on pharmaceutical versus nutraceuticals. Your expertise and passion for the subject matter have inspired us all. We also extend our thanks to our technical team for their seamless execution and support throughout the webinar. Finally, we thank our participants for their patience and understanding and cooperation. We hope that you found the webinar informative, engaging, and worthwhile. Thank you once again, and we look forward to connecting with you in future webinars. As we are concluding this webinar with the national anthem, hence I request everyone to stand up for the same in your respective positions.
1 minute, Krishna. Is it possible to play the national anthem, which have some special national anthem? Is it possible? Which I posted in the webinar group. A rare.
Sir, give me a 1 second. I'm downloading it. I have not kept in my device. Just 1 second.
A rare national anthem, please.
Yeah.
If it is delayed, it's okay, leave it.
Sir, it is in which group, sir?
Webinar group.
Webinar.
Webinar group. Today webinar group.
1 second, sir.
Can you see it?
Oh, sir, 1 second, 1 second.
Okay, leave it. Go for regular one.
1 second, 1 second, sir. 1 second. Sir, audio visible, sir? Audible, sir? My
Yeah.
audio.
Please.
Yeah.
सुख सुख चैन की बरखा बरसे भारत भाग्य है जागा पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा चंचल सागर विंद हिमाला नीला जमुना गंगा तेरे नित गुण गाये तुझसे जीवन पाए सब तन पाए आशा सूरज बन कर जग पर चमके भारत नाम सुहागा जय हो जय हो जय हो जय 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 हो भारत नाम सुहागा सबके दिल में प्रीत बसाए तेरी मीठी बानी हर सूबे के रहने वाले हर हर मजहब के प्राणी, सब वेदों पर मिटा के, सब गोद में तेरी आके, गूंदे प्रेम की माला, सूरज बन कर जग पर चमके, भारत नाम सुहागा। जय हो, जय हो, जय हो, जय 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 हो, भारत नाम सुहागा। सुबह सवेरे पंग पखेरू तेरे ही गुण गाये, घास भरी भरपूर हवाए, जीवन में रुत लाए, सब मिलकर हिंद पुकारे, जय आजाद हिंद किनारे, प्यारा देश हमारा, सूरज बन कर जग पर चमके, भारत नाम सुहागा। जय हो, जय हो, जय हो।
Thank you. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Thank you all.
Jai Hind. Thank you.
Can we leave the meeting, sir?
Yes, please, sir. Please.
Jai Hind. Thank you all.
Please leave.
President Garu, shall I leave?